I'm going to make you some flavour-packed spice kofta with a yogurt and eggplant dip. So we'll start with our eggplant. Turn on your stovetop. And we want to char grill this until it's all blackened. That is going to impart a beautiful smoky flavour. So onto our kofta. Into a bowl, I'm going to add some lamb. You could also use beef. Lamb's quite traditional. I love the lamb with this because it's quite fatty. So as it grills, the fat renders away, leaving us with a lovely crust on our lamb. So into this, we need lots of spices. Some allspice, some cinnamon and cumin, and some salt, a generous pinch of salt, and I want to add some onion to this. So half a red onion, and we'll finally chop it. If you want to make this slightly more authentic and refined, you could grate this onion, place it into a tea towel and squeeze out the excess water and then add it to this. I'm just going to do it the very quick way, which is finely chopping the onion. And this is quite a large onion, so I probably only need about 3/4 of it. The rest doesn't get wasted. I'm going to use that as a garnish later on. So in with our onion. And this is where you want to start off with a fork just to combine everything. And kofta translates to a paste. So you really want to work this mixture until it's quite sticky. So get your hands in there and really give it a good work. So I'm going to make small koftas using skewers. If you don't want to use skewers, you can just roll them into sausage-like shapes and you can grill them on the barbecue as is. But these metal skewers are a fantastic investment because they don't burn as they cook on the barbecue or in the grill. So we're just going to grab a small amount of the meat and press it into a sausage shape, and then you want to wrap it around the skewer like this. And that's our first kofta done. So I'm going to make a few more of these. You can make them ahead of time, chill them in the fridge. Then I'm just going to oil them and grill them. Okay, our kofta are ready, eggplant's ready also. You can see that I've just taken off all of the black. You don't want to leave too much on it. A few little specks are okay because it's going to impart a smoky flavour, but just not too much. And you can see how soft and tender the eggplant is. So we can chop it up finely with the yoghurt so it turns into a baba ganoush style dip. All right, I like to drizzle oil over the kofta before I place it on the grill. You don't want to be adding the oil to the grill because you'll just waste quite a lot of the olive oil. So just a drizzle, and we'll just rub that over. All right, this has been preheating. In they go. Good sizzle there. Because it's minced, it's going to take no time at all to cook. And because that pan's quite hot, just keep an eye on them. See how they're starting to char grill already, and the smell of those onions grilling, just fantastic. Okay, while they're cooking, let's finish off the eggplant. So straight back on the board, and we're just going to run our knife through it a few times. So once that's finely chopped up, straight into the bowl. It's such a lovely way of preparing eggplant. We need to season this, so a good pinch of salt and some yogurt. This is not essential, but I've placed my yogurt into a chucks, or you can even just use a tea towel. And see how thick it is? I've just drained off the excess liquid because I want this to be quite a thick style dip. So in with lots of yogurt, and we'll whip that together. I'll add some of my lemon juice, good squeeze of lemon juice, tahini, small amount of tahini, and we can't forget the all-important garlic. Use a fine grater to mince this in. Just a small one should do. And just to bring the whole thing together, extra virgin olive oil. And look at that, that in itself with some Lebanese bread that's been toasted in the oven is just divine. All right, now we'll just be very patient. Wait for these to finish cooking. I'll remove them, let them rest, and then we can plate up. All right, these koftas are looking good, perfectly caramelised. I'm just going to leave them there for a moment while we warm up some pitta. You could also use Lebanese bread. I love these pittas because I'm going to cut it in half and you can fill it up with the kofta and all these delicious goodies that go with it. This is why I love Middle Eastern style food. So I'm going to grab our dip here. I'm going to add it to the plate. I'm just going to put a pile of it, just spread it out slightly. I want everyone to be able to take some of the dip and the pickles and all of the parsley there and create their own little pockets. So we'll keep everything individual. These pickles are to die for. They are wild pickles and you can get them at all Middle Eastern grocers. I'm just going to cut them on an angle. If you can't find these, any type of whole cucumber pickle is what you're after. We like that sort of tangy, vinegary flavour to cut through the fattiness of the lamb. And these are a real treat. These purple turnips. Look how bright they are and they're super crunchy. So they can go on there. The rest of that onion I've just finely sliced. We'll just pile that up. And I'm going to use parsley as the lettuce leaf. So again, it's a lovely flavour there. Usually you'd see it in a tabbouleh, but why not leave it whole and then you can add it to the sandwich as is. So just pick the leaves off. Okay, this should be ready. We'll just turn that over. Yep. Cut that in half. See how that opens up? So it's so easy to fill everything in there. Place them on the side and our kofta, I'm going to take them off the skewer. They've cooled down slightly. And just pile them up. Finishing touches, sumac. Sumac has got this very concentrated, almost tomato-y, tangy flavour. Delicious with a dip like this. So just sprinkle over that sumac on the onions, the meat. Oh, doesn't that look beautiful? I also like just a pinch of salt on the meat right at the end. That's a very bright and happy dish. And I'm going to fill up one of these pitta pockets. So grab a generous amount of the eggplant dip, lots of that in there. Fill that up with some onions. This is why you want your onions to be super thin because it can be slightly overpowering. Some of the parsley leaves go in. The pickles, they're the best part. Actually, I lie. The best part is the kofta. We'll pop that in there and don't be afraid to add some more of the eggplant dip over the top. Dig in. So many flavours going on. Creaminess from the eggplant dip, that is an absolute winner. Next barbecue, make this one. Delicious.